These are the people who are bringing these people. How did he know about these people who are coming to our country when our government don't know? How come these NGOs and these nonsense people, they know about this place when we know nothing about this, whatever's going on in our country? Who are these people that they know more than the government? Who are these people who knows more than what our ministers knows about what's going on in our country? If we are not being fooled, and why did Minister of Home Affairs say nothing when that first plane came to our country? These people, they think that we are fools. These people travel 9,000 kilometers to come to South Africa. These people are being trafficked. These people have been trafficked. These people have been trafficked to our country. This country must just help everyone. How many people are we going to bring in this country? We are going through a lot as a country. How come even our country don't have even a number of people that we can accept in the country? To say, look, if we have accepted 10,000, we cannot take more than 10,000. How come our country does not have a limit of refugees? How come our country does not have a limit of asylum seekers? How come we don't have a limit to say we cannot take any more? We don't even have refugees camp where these people are supposed to be going. But these people, they take people from war zone and integrate them with the community. Make it make sense, my friend. These people come from war zone. You take the people, you just put them in hotels, you just put them everywhere in the country. My friend, yeah, our country, I don't understand, my friend. And when we talk, they're going to say we talk too much. When we talk, they're going to call us names. Let me play the next clip. There's this guy's also complaining a lot, talking too much. Talking too much. This next clip, let me play the next clip.
When I arrived on the plane, there was a pregnant woman, 9 months pregnant, literally at the point of giving birth. And sorry, it's quite emotional. She was going down the stairs and just in a lot of pain, discomfort. When I came onto the plane, it was excruciatingly hot. There were lots of children just sweating and screaming and crying. We walked into this tube that's been on the runway that has been on the runway all day. Right. Fortunately, with the evening coming in now, it's a little bit cooler. At about 3 o'clock, they allowed some people off on the plane to go and go to the toilet. There is no toilet on the plane. And the conditions are just atrocious. I do not believe that this is what South Africa is about. South Africa should be letting these people into the airport at the very least and letting them apply for asylum. This is their basic fundamental right. It's guaranteed in our constitution that we will comply with these international laws. It's in international law and it's in our domestic law. We should be giving these people asylum.
And how do they ultimately get onto a plane with gaps in their documentation, these stamps that are now ultimately holding up their transit?
So this in itself is also outrageous. And this is the second plane that has landed. I was informed of a group of Palestinians arriving 2 weeks ago. I was the first one to find one of the families. I went out to Rudaput. A man had been placed in an Airbnb, and he told me his story that this NGO called Al Majd had basically trafficked them out of Israel. And so we alerted the Department of International Relations. He told us there were 150 people on that plane. Over the course of the week, we then managed to track down probably about 105 of those people. We were informed by border management that 59 had taken flights into third countries. And so we started working with the families. We worked with a number of aid agencies to find out their stories. And this is the story. And let me just explain. Basically, people went through the Karim Shalom crossing. So first of all, they were phoned in the middle of the night. And
Nigel, I think you've muted yourself, so let's see if we can get your audio going. We lost you just about when you said they left through the Karim Shalom crossing, received calls in the middle of the night. As you tell that part of the story, who called them? And you also used the word trafficked for the previous group. Is that how you would characterize what's happened here?
As they're trying to target some of the richest and most influential people, the people we've come in contact with are doctors, teachers, medical personnel. I've met dentists, I've met professionals, people who've had businesses, and they've had to pay a lot of money to an NGO that's very dubious, that operates out of the UAE. Some of the initial investigations that we've done have showed that the website, if you go and have a look at yourself, you'll see that a lot of the websites is artificial intelligence generated, and this is Al Majd Europe. And so what happened was they went to the buses in the morning. They were told, the previous group, to leave their bags behind. They got to the Karim Shalom crossing. They were then told to leave every possession behind. We had people who were taken.
This guy talks too much of it. Dr. Solomon says there were 2 toilets in that plane. As like it is our problem. We do not give them that plane. We do not give them that plane. They came with that plane, but they want to make that plane to be our problem. They want to make the plane to be our problem. Mr. Solomon said there's 2 toilets in that plane. This man comes in and said there was no toilets in that plane. Talking rubbish. Our government is allowing nonsense. Our government is allowing nonsense. Allowing these NGOs people to come and speak and go and lie to the rest of the world. Now it is our problem. Now it becomes our problem. We become the talking point. We become the talking point. When they traffic people in our country, we become the talking point. Enough is enough. Our government is selling out our country, man. We cannot sit and allow people do as they please. They traffic people and take money from these people. And they want to make their problem our problem. Make it make sense. These people are busy trafficking people, collecting money. These NGOs are busy collecting money and trafficking people to South Africa. And we must keep quiet. We must keep quiet because we must say they come from war zones. Enough is enough. Enough is enough about these people. Enough is enough. Enough is enough, Prophet. We cannot sit and allow these people and do as they please. These people, they should be going to the nearest country. We are 9,000 kilometers away from Palestine. And we're not saying that we don't want the Palestine here. But people must come in with documents. We're saying no to illegal people. We're saying no to traffic people. We cannot accept this. Our country cannot accept this. Prophet, how many planes are still coming? How many planes have already arrived in South Africa? Because the first one, they did not tell us. They did not bother to tell us. How many planes did Sharp come to this country? Coming from Palestine or coming from Israel? Prophet, you can go Google it. These things of the passport stamps, it doesn't work in Israel. There's no one who's going to stamp you. This is not the first time they're doing these things. They don't stamp passport. Google it yourself, you'll see. They don't stamp passport. They'll actually give you a permit. They'll stamp your permit. Or they give you an electronic gate pass. Enough is enough. Our fate, we cannot accept this. Every country must just come and do as they please in our own country. And we must keep quiet. We cannot keep quiet. We cannot keep quiet. We are going through a lot as a country. We are going through a lot as a country. Everyone wants to come to South Africa. Everyone wants to come and claim Islam in South Africa. They travel, they cross many countries. Imagine this plane was in Kenya. They still proceed. Why didn't they ask an Islam in Kenya? Why didn't the passport been stamped in Kenya? Because they want to leave the responsibility to South Africa. Everyone want to dump everybody in South Africa. Nobody want to take any responsibility. Everybody want to dump people in South Africa. Everybody want to traffic people in South Africa. And we must keep quiet. We are not going to keep quiet. We are not going to allow our country to get destroyed. We are not going to allow criminal cartels to traffic people in our country, to destroy our country, and we keep quiet. And our government, Ramaphosa, he takes this in so like it's nothing. He does not care about our safety. This president does not care about our safety. The Home Affairs Minister does not care about our safety. The DA does not care about our safety. It is their responsibility to guard our borders. It is the DA's responsibility to guard our borders. It is the DA who's in charge of Home Affairs. Buffett, let me cut this video here. I might make another video, but because this last guy that I just put his clips here, there's more videos about him. This guy must be investigated. Who is this guy? This guy must be investigated because he's pushing so hard. He's pushing so hard to document people who we don't even know. The government need to investigate this man. Because he might be the one of the people who are busy collecting money. How did you even know about the person in the hotel? There might be the people who are collecting money from these people. Perfect. I'll see you in my next video. Sharp, sharp.